My name is Brett Bymaster. I'm the executive director at Healing Grove Health Center. I'm so excited that you've signed up to help at Dia de Unidad. This is the third annual event, and we want to welcome you into our community. We want to thank you for serving alongside Healing Grove Venture and Venture en Español. Let me tell you a little bit about our community and why we're doing this event. Healing Grove is a place-based ministry, meaning we're serving the community that we're located in. It's a community that my wife and I have lived in for more than 15 years. We send our kids to the local public school, and we have a team, many of which have lived and served in the community for more than a decade. So it's been our opportunity to love this community, to love God and love our neighbors. The community is the downtown San Jose, Washington, Guadalupe community. It's one of the lowest income communities in Silicon Valley, predominantly made up of Spanish-speaking immigrants. It's right next to the Willow Glen community, and the inequities are stark. In Willow Glen, the average family median income is $226,000 a year, while in the Washington community, the average family median income is just $57,000. The Washington community is just a few blocks south of the tall buildings in downtown San Jose. It's just a few blocks south of the world headquarters of Adobe and Zoom, these multi-billionaire companies, just a couple blocks away from poverty, from pretty intense poverty. And yet this is a community that, even though there is a lot of poverty, that is flourishing with love. Healing Grove Health Center families on average made $27,500 per year pre-pandemic, living here in Silicon Valley. But during the pandemic, the vast majority of our residents lost jobs because they didn't have jobs they could telecommute to. And so the average incomes fell and people experienced explosive poverty. As a result of that poverty, there was intense stress in households dealing with sickness and rent debt. And what we've seen since then is an outbreak of domestic violence, a family breakdown. Dia de Unidad, the Day of Unity, is a celebration where we want to bring families together to enjoy one another. We want to encourage families to be united. And in doing so, we want to encourage families to unite against domestic violence, to unite against family breakdown. And we want to invite you to be a part of that. We're going to have a bunch of activities for kids and families, science and art and crafts, all sorts of fun things, jumpers. We're going to have free food from Chick-fil-A. We're going to have a banda, which is a Mexican band that people in our community love. But most importantly, we're going to shut all those activities down from 3 to 4, and we're going to focus on the stage. We have a great lineup of people coming to speak about unity in our families, unity in our streets, and unity in our community. We have Mayor Sam Liccardo, we have Councilmember Raul Perales, we have County Supervisor Cindy Chavez, and San Jose Police Chief Anthony Mata. And most importantly, we have Pastor Carlos Alejandro, who's going to give a gospel message and encourage people to work towards the kind of unity that God calls us to have. In Acts chapter 4, the disciples pray for boldness. After they pray for boldness, the Holy Spirit shakes the room. They reach out their hands and they heal the sick. And then I want you to pay attention to what the Bible says next. It says they were united, one in heart and mind. They testified to the resurrection of Christ. And then they gave until there was no more need. You see, they eliminated need in their community. And at Healing Grove Health Center, that's exactly what we want to do. We're here to proclaim good news to the poor. We're here to proclaim freedom for the prisoners, to set the oppressed free, to bring sight to the blind, and declare the year of the Lord's favor. And when you come into our community for Dia de Unidad, you're going to be coming in to be a part of that, to be a part of the good work that God's been doing for the past 15 years. Healing Grove's mission is to share the love of Jesus through healthcare, soul care, and culture care in order to bring the healing of the nations to our community. Dia de Unidad, the Day of Unity, is a perfect way for us to reach out to the broader community with a message of unity in our families, unity on our streets, and unity in our community. And by volunteering and participating in Dia de Unidad, you are taking a part in that. We want you to come. While you're there, we'd encourage you to pray for people. Most of the adults will be Spanish speaking, but most of the kids will be English speaking. If there's a Spanish speaking adult that you think needs prayer, I'd love you to point him towards a prayer tent where Pastor Danya and Carlos Alejandro will be there to pray with people. If you're running a station, I'd encourage you to just come full of love for our young people. We encourage you to come humbly and understand that there's a team of people who've been serving in this community for over a decade. And come and understand that you maybe only be here for one day, but we have a team of people that have been committed for years. Okay, I want to go over a few things with you so that you know what to expect on the day of the event. First of all, let's take a look at the map. This is a map of Tamian Park, and here you can see where all the different booths are located depending on which one you're assigned to. So you can see here to the north, there's a volleyball court and basketball court, and to the south we'll have soccer, and there's a series of activity tents. On the left-hand side, on the west side, there's all of the jumpers, and most importantly, on the upper right-hand corner is the prayer tent. That's where we'll be directing people who want to receive prayer. And next, I want to go over the schedule with you. So our team will be there early in the morning, beginning setup. If you're on the setup team, setup will begin at 9 a.m. We'll be setting up from 9 a.m. to about 11:30. At 11:30, we'll gather to pray, and then the event doors will open at noon sharp. All the activities, the jumpers, the stations will all be open from 12 to 3. At about 2:50, we'll shut everything down, and we'll move everybody towards the tent in order to hear the speakers. So I want to ask that if you're in an activity station, be watching the time, and you want to kind of be winding things down at 2:40 or so that we can have everything finished and have everybody moving towards the main tent for the speakers at 3. The speakers will start actually at 3:15, so we kind of be gathering people from 3 to 3:15. And then Pastor Carlos Alejandro will be doing kind of the emceeing, introduce the speakers. We'll have our dignitary speak first, and then Pastor Carlos will follow up with a great message to encourage us to seek unity in God, unity in our family, unity in our streets, and unity in our community. At 4 o'clock sharp, we'll wrap up, and then all the activities will be reopened from 4 to 6. We'll have a banda that will come and start setting up right at 4, and so at 4:30, the banda will be on. And then all the activities will continue. We'll start serving food right around 4:30 as well, the Chick-fil-A food. And then we'll run all the way till 6, and at 6, we'll close down, and then the tear down and cleanup team will come in right at 6, start to clean, to move people out, and to finish up an awesome, awesome day. I think it's important that you understand where you'll be serving. We're going to be holding Dia de Unidad at Tamian Park. Tamian Park is a brand new park. It just officially opened a few months ago. For 35 years, the land that Tamian Park is now on sat empty and blighted, full of trash and needles. And our community for the past decade has rallied, demanding that the city come in and put park redevelopment fees to use in our community. Time and time again, those park redevelopment fees would go to wealthier communities. And so we have fought. In fact, we were able to file a lawsuit that went all the way to the state Supreme Court and with a huge precedent-setting victory that allowed us to get Tamian Park. And so this is the first large event that's happened in this park. And we want to come together in unity at Tamian Park, where the city has invested more than $10 million in building this beautiful park where our community can come together and celebrate and love one another. We're working very hard to make sure that this park stays clean, to make sure that the gangs stay out, and to make sure that this is a safe, clean, and fun park for our families to play in. We have a fantastic team that's been working so hard to put together Dia de Unidad, and I want to introduce our team so that if you have a question, you know who to talk to. First of all, on the left side is local outreach pastor, Pastor J.C. Park. Next is Venture en Español, Pastor Danya Mesa. Danya will be in charge of the prayer tent. Next is Karen Hernandez. Karen's in charge of all the rentals and budgeting and make sure everything gets put in the right place. Next is Jennifer Flores, who is the local outreach admin for Venture and also a member at Venture en Español. And Jennifer is in charge of all the volunteers and making sure all the volunteers get into the right spot. Next is Pastor Carlos Alejandro, senior pastor of Venture en Español, and Carlos will be our keynote speaker. Next is myself, Pastor Brett Bymaster, executive director at Healing Grove Health Center. And if you have a question, I should kind of be the last person to ask. If you can ask one of the other people on the team, that will be great. I'll be working behind the scenes to make sure that the event works smoothly. Next is Michelle and Audrey Kwong. Michelle and Audrey are in charge of all the kids' activities and booths, along with Miriam. And lastly is Healing Grove Community Engagement Director Maria Marcello, who will also be helping to make sure the event runs smoothly. If you need to send someone to someone who is Spanish speaking, the Spanish speaking team members here are Danya, Karen, Jennifer, Carlos, and Maria. Thank you so much for partnering with us. Now, we'd love for you to get involved in the long term. We'd love for you to even become a patient here at Healing Grove, where for $200 a month, you can receive concierge healthcare, and every paying patient funds 2 low-income members to be able to access our clinic. We'd love to be able to serve more people. If you'd like, you can make a $70 a month donation to support one uninsured person. Please come and get involved here in the good stuff God is doing in our community through this partnership between Venture en Español, and Healing Grove Health Center.